I can't. I can't.
I guarantee it.
Calm down. Calm down, brother.
Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight. Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocked the world again.
But at the same time, I think Roach fought at his peak. You know, I don't think he can fight better than that.
But do you believe...
In a move that has stirred the boxing world, Gervonta Davis has publicly fired back at his former promoter and mentor Floyd Mayweather Jr. after the boxing legend showed support for Lamont Roach ahead of Davis's anticipated rematch with Roach. The fiery response from Davis signals escalating tensions not only between him and Roach, but also with Mayweather, reigniting a long-simmering feud that traces back to their complex history within Mayweather Promotions. Gervonta Davis was once regarded as the crown jewel of Floyd Mayweather's promotional stable. The Baltimore-born knockout artist was personally mentored by Mayweather, often hailed as the next big PPV star to follow in his mentor's footsteps. For years, the pair appeared inseparable. Mayweather regularly cornered Davis during fights, offered him lavish gifts, and publicly endorsed him as boxing's next megastar. However, cracks in their relationship began to show as Davis grew increasingly independent. Complaints of micromanagement, miscommunications, and public spats hinted at behind-the-scenes friction. Davis eventually parted ways with Mayweather Promotions in 2022, opting to manage his career more independently, with PBC facilitating his matchups. Fast forward to 2025, and Davis is gearing up for one of the most personal fights of his career, a rematch with Lamont Roach, a slick technician and former Mayweather-advised fighter. While their first bout ended in a controversial decision, Roach has since demanded redemption, earning a rematch.
Tank want a rematch. Let me know now. Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he open to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank
100%.
again?
It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay. They say they want it in New York again. Do you want to fight again in the Barclays Center?
I wouldn't mind, but I'd love for it to be in DC.
Okay.
I'd love for it to be in DC.
Things took an unexpected turn earlier this week when Floyd Mayweather publicly voiced his support for Lamont Roach during an Instagram live session. Mayweather's words, although measured, were seen as a sharp slight by Gervonta Davis, who interpreted the comments as an intentional betrayal from someone he once called a father figure. Never one to bite his tongue, Gervonta Davis fired back with a scathing post. In a follow-up interview with Showtime Boxing, Davis doubled down. "Floyd's been hating, man." The emotional outburst underscores just how personal this upcoming fight has become. It's no longer just about titles or rankings. It's now a battle for pride, loyalty, and redemption. From a boxing psychology perspective, Mayweather's support for Roach may play into mind games. Whether intentional or not, it places Davis under intense public scrutiny. Known for fighting with raw emotion, Davis may need to maintain control to avoid allowing personal feelings to cloud his performance in the ring. For Roach, Mayweather's endorsement is a strategic confidence boost. It adds credibility to his camp, elevates his profile ahead of the PPV event, and mentally frames him as the chosen fighter against a superstar with everything to lose. This latest drama between Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather is more than just boxing beef. It's a reflection of mentorship gone awry, generational pride, and the brutal individualism of the sport. With Mayweather now seen as indirectly opposing his former protege, Davis steps into the ring not just to defend his record, but to reclaim his narrative. We just got a glimpse into Tank's training camp for the rematch.
We did how many rounds? We probably did at least like 3.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8 kills.
Yeah.
You're not.
Meanwhile, Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis are at last prepared to run it back. Boxing Scene has verified that the WBA lightweight title rematch is officially slated to headline the August 16th PBC on Prime Video pay-per-view card. While TGB Promotions currently has T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas reserved for the event, the final venue has yet to be confirmed at the time of publication. Matthew Bellini Brown of Brunch Boxing was the first to reveal the second act's date on March 1st. Roach and Davis fought to a majority draw at Brooklyn, New York's Barclays Center. The venue was initially in the running to host the rematch when plans were first set for a mid to late June date. However, current expectations point to Las Vegas as the frontrunner, with either the T-Mobile Arena or MGM Grand Garden Arena likely to land the event. With a rematch reportedly scheduled for August in Las Vegas, Terence Crawford shared his thoughts on how the second fight might play out. Speaking to ring champs with O and Barack, he expressed doubt that Roach would be able to better his performance from their first encounter. Crawford said that he thought people were going to see a better version of Tank, but at the same time, he believed Roach had fought at his peak and didn't think Roach could perform better than that. He acknowledged that Roach could definitely have Tank's number, but noted that it didn't mean Tank would fight the same way. Crawford explained that Tank could let his hands go more, emphasizing that it was part of the mental game. He pointed out that when Tank was hitting Roach or when Roach was blocking, it was just one or two shots, and stressed that Tank needed to start picking up the pace and throwing in combinations.
In the phrase when people say he got his number,
Yeah.
do you think that's a real thing? And could it be possible
Yeah,
that
for
Roach
sure.
has his number?
Definitely. Roach can definitely have his number, but that don't mean that Tank will come in there fighting the same fight.
But what could he do different?
He can,
because when I watched
he
the
can
fight,
let his hands go more.
but I think
you know
at
what I mean?
times
He can-
did, and then he was being met and countered with answers back every time. So people are not used to seeing Tank in that space, because when he lands those shots, they usually end the fight, but they wasn't hurting Roach.
But that's the thing. That's the mental game of it. You know, when he was hitting Roach or Roach was blocking,
Right.
he had hit boom with like one or two shots.
Right.
You know, you gotta start picking it up and throw
More
multiple
combinations, yeah.
Yeah.
Additionally, Boxing Scene has confirmed that this event is one of at least 3 major cards PBC has lined up in the coming months. As previously reported, July 19th is shaping up to be the tentative date for the highly anticipated WBC welterweight title showdown between Mario Barrios and boxing icon Manny Pacquiao. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, plans are intensifying to lock in a challenger for unbeaten 2-division champion and current WBC light heavyweight title holder David Benavidez, with a potential headliner shaping up for either October or November. The Davis vs. Roach bout sparked heated discussion, but the official result, 115-113 for Davis and 2 114-114 draws, closely reflected the action. While some believed Roach had done enough to win, neutral observers largely agreed the outcome wasn't a blatant robbery. However, Roach suffered from questionable officiating in a pivotal 9th-round sequence that might have shifted the fight. Roach, a product of the Washington, D.C. area, connected with a stiff jab midway through the round. In response, Baltimore's Davis looked at referee Steve Willis, turned away, and dropped to one knee. No knockdown was signaled, and in an unusual scene, Davis was allowed to call an impromptu timeout so co-trainer Calvin Ford could wipe his eye, claiming hair product had momentarily impaired his vision. Willis responded only with a stern warning, while Davis avoided a harsher penalty despite violating rules that banned cornermen from stepping onto the apron during a round unless officially summoned. The New York State Athletic Commission reportedly lacked access to instant replay, unable to retrieve footage from Prime Video before round 10 began. Consequently, Roach dropped the round 10-8 on 2 cards. Roach, the WBA junior lightweight champ, who moved up in weight, couldn't fully capitalize and ultimately earned a moral victory by drawing with Davis. The crowd of 19,500 reacted negatively to the decision, but Roach's gritty performance far exceeded expectations and boosted his profile significantly. Unfazed, Roach is eager for the rematch, telling Boxing Scene and Pro Box TV, "Man, I'm so excited. Part 2's coming, and it's time to boogie again. Though the rematch is contractually set, Roach declined to verify the rumored date.
Tank and Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight. Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocked the world again. But the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, different personality, different motivation. And I think Roach will do good again, but I think Tank will be more dominant.
For Davis, his clash with Roach marked his return to the spotlight after a notable layoff. The fight was his first since defeating Frank Martin in a thrilling pay-per-view event in June 2023, which took place at the same venue, MGM Grand Garden Arena. That night, Davis retained his WBA lightweight belt with a stunning one-punch knockout that kept fans buzzing. However, his inactivity since then had become a growing concern among observers and critics alike. Despite remaining undefeated, Davis's long hiatus from the ring raised doubts about his rhythm and conditioning, especially as the lightweight division continued to evolve. The Roach bout was intended not only to shake off rust, but also to reaffirm Davis's place atop the division. In many ways, the fight achieved that goal, but not without revealing vulnerabilities. Davis, usually dominant and explosive, appeared more cautious and less consistent through stretches of the bout. His trademark power wasn't as evident, and his pace varied from round to round. Some speculated that his time away may have dulled his reflexes and affected his timing. Still, he showcased enough skill and poise to avoid a loss, even under pressure. Following the decision, Davis showed little concern over the controversial scoring, brushing aside criticism. He hinted at bigger plans ahead, stating, "I've got bigger fish to fry." Davis didn't directly address the rematch clause or Roach's immediate challenge, but left the door open for future developments. With major names like Shakur Stevenson, Vasily Lomachenko, and Devin Haney lurking in the weight classes above and below, the options remain plentiful. Yet Davis must now decide whether to run it back with Roach or pivot toward one of boxing's bigger draws. Either way, his performance left fans with lingering questions about whether the long layoff helped or hindered his momentum. While the crowd was split in its judgment, the fight served its purpose. It put Davis back in the conversation and gave Roach his most prominent moment yet. The anticipation for what comes next is only growing.
Tank was that good, it would just take the right fighter to pick him apart, to be honest. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. So I always saw so many holes in his game. So to me, it wasn't that surprising that someone finally gave him some good work.
Roach's performance, on the other hand, exceeded most expectations. Known for his technical skills and resilience, he came into the fight as the underdog, but never fought like one. From the opening bell, Roach applied consistent pressure and dictated the pace with sharp jabs and timely combinations. He showed no fear of Davis's power, often engaging in close quarters where many previous opponents had faltered. Roach's game plan, orchestrated by a disciplined corner, revolved around keeping Davis uncomfortable, and for large portions of the fight, it appeared to work. His body shots slowed Davis down, and his footwork kept him just out of reach of the heavier punches. Round after round, Roach's confidence grew, and so did the support from the crowd. Though not flashy, his strategy was effective, and several analysts scored the bout in his favor. After the final bell, Roach's corner erupted in celebration, convinced they had done enough to earn the victory. His reaction to the scorecards was a mix of disbelief and frustration. In the post-fight interview, Roach expressed disappointment, but carried himself with grace. "I thought I did what I had to do," he said, but the judges saw it differently. That response only strengthened his case for a rematch. Roach's performance wasn't just competitive, it was a statement. He proved he could hang with one of the sport's biggest stars and arguably do better than most had anticipated. For a fighter often overlooked in discussions about the division's elite, this was a career-defining moment. Regardless of the official result, Roach walked away with elevated status and newfound respect. His ability to neutralize Davis's offense and fight at a high level across all 12 rounds turned skeptics into believers. If a rematch materializes, Roach won't be seen as a long shot next time. Instead, he'll enter with more credibility, confidence, and perhaps the momentum to pull off the upset that slipped away this time.